Hello, welcome to today's collective message. This is for those out there who resonate with my energy as a reader and a channeler. And yeah, anyone who resonates with the title, just stay a little bit and see what we are talking about. We're starting off with the Two of Cups, something to do with some kind of connection between two things that are of different matter but very similar in the way of structure, but also different in the way of structure. We have the 10 of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles face down. There's something to do with what you deem as what you think you deserve, what you are appreciating in the long run. We have is that the 5? The 6 of Pentacles in reverse. I'm getting that there's something to do with the change in your definition of what you desire and what you want, and knowing what is conditioned within that, and then what is really you. There's something about how you have realized that your authentic desires and your needs are stirring up. It's like there is this recent tower moment for yourself where you realized that you've been fighting for this type of having this desire fulfilled. You saying that this is something you desire in a way where you don't feel, how would I put it, other than guilty or shameful or really emotional? Because I'm getting that you have been moving your emotions based off of this title. It's like you're you don't have to use your emotions in terms of this. This could be just something that's naturally you, and it's like you're fighting with this in a way where it's like you have to come up with an excuse for something that just is. There doesn't need to be an excuse. We have the Chariot and we have the 7 of Pentacles. When I saw these, what went through my mind is because you put in the hard work and dedicated yourself to a point where you are that, and where you've worked yourself, or you worked out until you got those abs, you put in that hard work. And so what I'm getting is that there isn't any need for you to put really anything on this other than stating the fact that it is what it is. Something to do with, it's part of your authentic you, and you're starting to get to a place where you're okay with not needing to put judgment on whatever part this is. This was in reverse, the 6 of Wands. Whoa, oh my gosh, the Devil. Okay, this was popping up too, and okay, so this is now you're in the responsible seat of, okay, okay. So what I'm getting is that you're coming to terms with acceptance of what is, and realizing that you don't need to react emotionally to this in terms of um, judging you. I'm getting that this part is something that you judge yourself for, but it's something that's natural for you to experience. And letting yourself just experience it without judging yourself, I'm getting will help ease you to rebalancing yourself and getting back on track with where you want to be. Because I'm getting that this part of you like hits your heart chakra. It hits a place where it's very vulnerable. And it's like if you're not defending yourself, you could easily be hurt. But I also see that there's a lot of strength within this part of you, that you have like protected this part of you. And now I see that you're not really reacting so defensively to the new as much because you know more of this part of you. Where before you didn't know as much, so you were a bit more defensive because it is a very, very authentic part of you that's like vulnerable and it's soft and gooey, ooey. Like it's a warm part of you. And sometimes life can be very cold, and sometimes the warmth in life can start to freeze and everything. So totally get why you were like defensive, because it's something you care for. And typically we as human beings want to protect what we care most about. So I have the Eight of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands as a pair. And I have the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups as a pair. So, kind of like what I'm getting is with this part of you that, like, it brings out this part where it's like you want to get defensive. I'm getting that there's some real good gold within it where you can learn how to move on with your life. So it's not as difficult as it is now for you by implementing mature uh, reactions from this response. So instead of jumping the gun and responding right away based off of whatever emotion you're kind of feeling, you take a moment and you ask yourself, okay, is this a situation I want to respond with right away, or do I want to wait, separate from whatever it is that is like triggering this like place within me that wants to attack, or not really attack, but is defensive. So you like basically, this is the moment where you choose to be patient or you choose to be impulsive. That is a moment where you can mature up and wise up. So let me take a breath. Let me take a drink. And I'm getting that, like, you want the past to be the past. And what really ultimately sets the past different from the present of where you are now is releasing those emotional attachments, any attachments in your psyche to the past, and allowing it to just be like words on a page, and feeling not really any emotional pull, but more so understanding kind of like the facts as much as you can realistically understand it. Because with the past, it gets muddled throughout time. We go through so many different experiences, situations, memories that like you think the past is one way and you perceive it one way, but it's also what emotion are you feeling when you're perceiving it this certain way. And do you feel like this emotion is benefiting you in the future? So, yeah, and we're coming to the end of the year right now for the collective. So, it's all about releasing, if you want it to be. It does not have to be anything for you. But for me, right now, and what I see with the collective is it's about releasing what before you thought like that was you, that was like your cup of tea, and welcoming in what kind of like fits more with your cup now, your way of thinking about life now. And kind of like I just heard, let bygones be bygones, which in this aspect, it's talking about letting really what has happened ultimately just rest and not dissecting it in the now constantly and try to get our own type of justice happening, and really like ultimately focusing on the present matter as much as you can for you and like you. And that means that you have to sit within yourself and get used to your energy now. Because there's like so much that happens when it comes to like the past and the present, that if you can allow yourself to just say, okay, this is me, then you can allow yourself to just ultimately find peace from this. Finding peace from, you know, feeling so emotionally burnt out and feeling like you don't have really any happiness or any joy within you. Because I'm getting that this past year, maybe not year, but more than anything, this past kind of however long the years are, the days, the months, whatever. It was about, a lot of it was about other people and what they did and their actions towards you. And I see that this upcoming year is about getting your bag, or focusing on losing and cutting and ridding those attachments that like brings your power to something else, connects your power to something else. Because the minute that you think about something other than you is the minute that you start to lose a little bit of your power. Having boundaries with yourself, especially when it comes to, if you have an overactive mind, when it comes to your focus, allowing yourself to just focus on you and your present matter can absolutely help you get to a point where you can put up boundaries when you realize, like, oh, I've been focusing on, well, actually, also what just went through my mind is when it comes to feelings specifically, there has been a tendency to focus and focus and focus on the hurt of the feeling. And there hasn't been as much focus on the kind of like medicine that you would need for healing the hurt. So I see that there's also a focus of looking at the healing aspects of the matter at hand, because yes, there's a wound, but now we need to focus on ridding more of the kind of like bacteria that's around the wound, and then also giving yourself the healingness that you need to help that wound heal up to a point where there's not a scar and there's not something that you have to go back to because you didn't oh my gosh, that got me off. Scared me a little bit. The Knight of Pentacles, but it's like you're getting to a point where you're way more mature about how to heal. That's what I'm trying to say. Where it's like I see that it's been this very much so catch 22 of healing, where you're aware that you're hurt and you're aware of what hurts and the matter at hand, the kind of like what is within the experiment of getting hurt, if you will. And so now you have to use what you learned this year to help start to integrate a lot more of the healing process, meaning that you're focusing on the healing at hand. And that's hard. Like that, if that's one thing that just makes the process hard, is for me, it's the healing. Like, yes, I can be aware of my pain, but it takes a lot for someone to, like the hermit, go within who they are. Hold on. I need water. That's good. Because for me, as like just a human, I struggle with like releasing this kind of feeling that I haven't, like, I haven't received help in places where maybe it's more of I've been focusing on where I'm not supported, and I can take a step back sometimes and look around and see that there are areas I am supported. And I see that that's happening with the collective, because it's like getting your attention back to you, which seems to be a very, very good way to be when it comes to beginnings. Like this new year, just, gosh, you guys, you've worked so hard. You've put in so many hours of dedication towards your healing, and it's kind of like you are contributing still to what is causing you those wounds until you start to change you, especially you. That might mean changing your habits, changing the way that you look at life, what's outside of you. Okay. Changing the way that you look outside of you. There's something about if you're able to allow yourself to imagine outside of you as inspiration. It'll help give you the final like, in a way, push you need to see how outside can help motivate you even more inside. Where like the things that before you felt like you were always picking up after other people and doing their work, you have found a way to put this to rest, this need to like pick up after other people, and transformed in a way where you're putting yourself first, and in the areas that you need to, of putting yourself first. And like, it's like I'm getting you're a lot more fluid with this, because there's some sort of practice that you have gone through. There's some sort of just, yeah, practice. The Five of Pentacles and the Devil. So there has been some sort of, I would say it started to get to not being of your benefit when it came to doing things on your own by yourself, where you're not really relying on other people in terms of help, in terms of support. There was some sort of belief around asking for help that definitely is very stern and very hard to approach and very defensive. Where I'm getting that, like, you have been kind of the number one person doing, building, improving your life. And you've had to rely on yourself, and in ways where you wanted to rely on others, but realized that you couldn't, that they weren't going to. And so I'm I'm seeing that there has been this need of support and help, and you're releasing this kind of like belief that that's unhealthy and unbalanced when it comes to asking for support and help, where it's like you found a way where it feels good for you, um, in terms of it, when like asking for help and support, you're like okay with the matter. Okay, so I just asked in my head, what does this asking for support really kind of, where is it like happening? What are we talking about? And what I got was the Page of Cups and the Three of Swords. Something to do with how it's really easy for you to focus on the disappointments of the past when it comes to, I'm getting relations. It can be platonic, it can be romantic, but it left you feeling like the tower where it just, but it also created the star. This is the star. So it left you feeling kind of like your beliefs about relationships are totally different than what you just went through. Like your reality, the definition of relationships totally changed with this kind of happening, with these heartbreaks, with going through these different experiences. And it left you like feeling like, what is up? I'm gonna look. So I'm getting that there has been some sort of feeling like if you go ask for help when it comes, especially when it comes to love, there is behind your mind, I see like doubt because of what you experienced. And I'm getting that looking at and really self reflecting on your beliefs when it comes to what you can learn from the past and also let go. There's something about ultimately letting go to ties when it comes to your emotions, and especially if it's a romantic tie, the aspect of it being romance is like part of your heart, you know, like that is probably with your romantic partner, you're the most you that you can be. So if you have like hurt and pain because of the past, especially when it comes to romance, it's so easy to get swayed in the present, um, based off of it. And I'm also hearing it's not just romance, I'm hearing like friendship too. Just kind of the overall vibe of you are revealing yourself in an authentic way, and you had your heart just like hurt from these interactions of how it ended. So what I'm getting is that you're focusing right now on endings and getting yourself to a point where you can get yourself, like, you know yourself enough. You can like rejoice, you can celebrate, because this is about the union of two two different beings, two different um how would I put this? Two different, yeah, like two different things that come together in union. And there's something about how this being the end of the year, it seems like there's a lot of resolution that you're coming to, that you're also learning how to release ultimately and like move forward. And I see definitely new frontier for you. Mm. New frontier and honoring yourself and appreciating yourself and loving yourself, like the inner child work. There's a lot of that. Yeah, that collab, like the relationship with yourself is going to be stronger than ever, is going to be at a place where you've never been before, because there has been a lot that you needed to release, which you're working on right now. And like the more that you release, the more space you have for new things to come. So I'm getting that it's very balanced within your masculine and your feminine energies. And it, yeah, like in the times that you feel like this, that you feel as though you don't know which way to go, and what, it's kind of like you have to rely on your instincts to get you through. There's something about how you found this this key, hmm? This key where you're like, okay, so right now I might be stuck. Right now I'm like, oh, but you have practiced enough grounding so that you can get to the present moment, right? And in the present moment, you realize that you might be a little bit burnt out. You're like, oh boy, okay. So you get to this place, wherever it is the sun is for you. It's like a place where you can find hope no matter what. And it's going to be just for you. This method for you. This will give you enough motivation to push forth in a place where you can, the next day, more than anything, the next day, you can release what is causing you to feel such burden. Like, I'm getting that you have learned how to cut cords, cut ties with what has burdened you of the past, what has caused you to hesitate in moving forward with your own way of mind. So right now, it is going to be a little bit uncomfortable, I see. it's going to be about looking at what exactly, like, your contribution to what is uncomfortable in your life. How are you contributing to your life right now in the way of what is uncomfortable? And allowing yourself to bring forth the information, bring forth what comes out without judging yourself, without putting conditions or beliefs on yourself. This is all about honesty and appreciating honesty. It's about having compassion for yourself, that what happened in the past and what you did in the past is what you knew best. And that's the really cool thing, is you're in the future, you're in the present, but you know more now. And that's something that it's a great feeling to feel. It's something really nice to realize, is that you do know more. And this also kind of doing shadow work and kind of self realizations, if you will, and looking at yourself is a way to see yourself in the now instead of seeing yourself in the past as much as you have. So that is the collective message. It got kind of dark, didn't it? Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you being with me. I am in the midst of my own transformation. So we'll probably see this transformation with me through the videos. They're definitely going to be different in terms of setting and everything. So thank you so much for joining me. I will see you in the next collective video. I don't know if I'm going to have a pick a card with the collective videos, but that is probably going to be something later on in the future once I have more energy for this. But I am really excited to have made this video. I will see you in the next one. Hopefully you will be there with me in the next one too. Until next time, namaste and have a great day. Bye, everyone.